Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. In today's video I thought I would do a bit of a roundup of the royal news, as it were, and to the best of my recollection for things that we have seen over the last couple of weeks, because there have been quite a few events taking place and I thought I would just amalgamate them all into one video. Hopefully I'll remember to do it in chronological order, just to give my thoughts on the things that we have seen. So first off, let's start with Anzac Day, which was the 25th of April. And this is an annual date in the diary. It is for us to remember and commemorate the fallen and those who gave their lives from Australia and New Zealand, to all those that have participated in all wars, conflicts and peacekeeping missions. We remember the Australians and New Zealanders that did give their lives. The British royal family commemorate this day. Like I say, it's a poignant date in their calendar. We see every year on Anzac Day members of the British royal family participating in events. This year we saw Princess Anne attending the dawn service, which was at Wellington Arch, Hyde Park Corner. Do excuse me, I do have some notes for these things. She attended the dawn service at Wellington Arch, Hyde Park Corner, and Princess Catherine also attended the commemoration events, starting with the laying of the wreath at the cenotaph and also partaking in the Thanksgiving service at Westminster Abbey. Both Her Princess Royal, Princess Anne, and Catherine the Princess of Wales, they both participated in these knowing the gravity of the day, just like they do for Remembrance Weekend in November. Both of them performed their duties, as it were, to the highest of standards, the highest that you would expect, especially with Princess Anne being the hardest working royal out of the members of the working royal family. And obviously I thought it was fantastic to see Catherine representing King Charles for this particular occasion. I thought it marked a significant amount of trust, respect, and emphasised Catherine's role in the royal family. And I thought it was fantastic to see her again be at the cenotaph and be at the Thanksgiving service at Westminster Abbey, and of course to represent the King, who was about to start the state visit to America, which we'll also touch on a little bit later. So while it was great to see pictures of both Princess Anne and Catherine the Princess of Wales participate in these events, as I say, to pay tribute to the fallen Australians and New Zealanders that gave their lives for, during war and conflict. It's a very important event, and for that I think we can all say thank you so much. It's important to pay tribute, and for that, obviously the line we use for Remembrance Weekend November also applies to Anzac Day, lest we forget. And then what we also saw on Anzac Day, just to go across the sea all the way to America, and what we saw on social media was probably something that could have possibly been anticipated, because I think I'm not the only one that's seen a pattern that where the British royal family, or maybe particularly when Catherine the Princess of Wales is carrying out an engagement, a lot of us anticipate that Meghan Markle will do something. She'll post something online, or a video will be released, or whatever it is. Something will appear online, and at this stage, after years of watching, you can pretty much guarantee that she's going to do something to try and overshadow something. Even something like Anzac Day, where when Meghan was in the royal family, she has attended a dawn service for Anzac Day. She has also attended a Thanksgiving service at Westminster Abbey on Anzac to mark Anzac Day. there are pictures of her from a time in the royal family participating in these events, so she does have an idea of how important this day is. I think definitely being on the front line is a lot worse than, do you know what I mean? I kind of want to say it without saying it, but being on the front line, I would say, is definitely worse. So again, that's where it's completely distasteful. It's incredibly tone deaf, because Anzac Day is a day of remembrance. In Australia, New Zealand, here, like I say, here in Britain, we commemorate the day, and we have a Thanksgiving service at Westminster Abbey, and our members of our royal family participate in services, and we lay wreaths because it is a time of remembrance. Sometimes you think, with the things that we've witnessed with Meghan Markle and her timing of things, you think she couldn't do something to, I don't know if she's intending to shock or whatever it is, but this seemingly is another event which will have a lot of attention, and rightfully so, because it's a time of remembrance. And it's almost as if she's piggybacking on the press for Anzac Day to promote herself and try and insert herself into press coverage for the day. Because I don't know, it seems as though she can't go without getting any press anytime, whatever day it is. And if it's a day marking and remembering somebody else, or commemorating, like, again, this was Anzac Day. This is a very big day. It's a time of remembrance, and that's where the focus should be. And instead, I can't think of the word, but she's piggybacking off it. And you just kind of think, just stop. Have a day off. Couldn't you have posted this on the Sunday? Not on Anzac Day. Don't do it on Anzac Day. Do it any other day. I mean, I understand in the caption it says it will end on the 25th of April. Do you have to post it on the April the 25th knowing it's Anzac Day? Or could somebody have told her, actually, no, don't do that. It won't look good. You'll get more negative press, which has followed her, I mean, since before Australia. But in recent memory, it's, it follows her. So it's like, well, why do you want more? Why do you want more bad press? Because those of us, I mean, I'm just starting out, but, I've noticed a pattern of behaviour. And then you've got other people online, very big names, big accounts, people that have tracked this for years and years and years publicly online. They've seen this pattern. And again, they're always, obviously, they're going to be one of the first ones to jump on it and say, oh, look, Meghan's posted on Anzac Day. How tone deaf, and, all the other criticism that's going to come with it. Meghan Markle said in Australia, and this is the other thing, she's just been to Australia, and in Australia and also in New Zealand as well, let's highlight New Zealand as well, Anzac Day is a massive day. I mean, Anzac, ANZ, Australia, New Zealand. She's just been to Australia. The press, I mean, there's a mix of good and bad, but overall the optics wasn't the best. My thoughts are in my video. I'll leave a link down below, but it is also on my channel as well. So it wasn't the best. She had bad press for quite a few things to do with Australia, and then on one of Australia and New Zealand's most important days, she's going to post something like this. Oh, I'm ending the worst 7 years of my life are over. No. Supposedly you've talked to veterans when you've been with Harry, particularly at the Invictus Games. you should have some idea, or at least Meghan should have some idea of what it has been like for veterans to be on the front line during a conflict or war. Harry, I assume, after all these years together now, he's also spoken to her about what it was like for his experience in the army. Just take that into consideration and just think, do you know what? This isn't about me. This isn't about Anzac Day. Is not something for you. And obviously I say this kind of to Meghan, although I doubt she'll ever see it. This day is not for you to jump on in order to garner publicity for yourself. Leave the publicity for the special occasions like Anzac Day. It is not right in any way, shape or form for you to do that. It's not right. Just think, do you know what? This day isn't about me, actually. If you're there, if your platform is to be considerate and showing up for people, as you've said on your Instagram, it's in your brand as ever, it's in the show with Love Meghan for the one episode I watched of season 1, part 1. If you're about showing up for people, we'll probably touch on this again in a bit later on, just don't post something like this. You've got to know this is tone deaf and insensitive to post. Particularly when you've been with Harry, who's spoken to veterans, and, you know, he was also in the army. So I'm just saying, have a day off. Have a day off. The press was for commemorating Anzac Day. It was a big event. Just because Princess Anne and Catherine the Princess of Wales are participating in events doesn't mean you have to do something. And this was about, your post was about you. You didn't post anything for Anzac Day, despite the fact that you've attended events back during your 18 months, whatever it was, in the royal family. In 2018, definitely, you were there at the dawn service, and you were at the Thanksgiving service at Westminster Abbey on Anzac Day, so you know what this is. You left the royal family, but Anzac Day is an annual thing, so just have a care for other people. Show up for other people. If you're genuine about it, you should have posted for Anzac Day. You know, I don't know whether it's because Meghan can't or whatever it is. Maybe I don't know. But I saw that and I was just like, again. And I think I commented, I don't know whose ex account it was, I can't remember, in response to someone else who posted about it and said, oh look, Meghan couldn't resist. I think that was the general gist. And I was like, well, it's predictable at this stage. Whether any member of the royal family, doesn't matter. She's going to post something. Because again, like I've said in another video, I think it was about the candles, she wants to remind you, she wants to remind all of us that she's still a member of the royal family. She wants to remind you of this connection, of the fact that she did marry into the British royal family. And I think that's what this is. And for her to do this on Anzac Day, I think was just absolutely appalling. You don't do that. You don't jump on Remembrance weekend either in November and Remembrance Day. You don't do it. These days are for all of us to remember the fallen that have fought for our freedoms. And that's who it should belong to. It doesn't belong... No, I don't agree with it. All in all, I don't agree with it. So So let's move on to something a lot happier. Obviously 2 days prior to Anzac Day, on the 23rd of April, it was Prince Louis's 8th birthday, and we got an absolutely beautiful photo of him smiling away. And then I think later on in the day they released a video. Both the photo and the video were taken by Matt Portis. I think I've said his name correctly. And they were taken and filmed during seemingly the Wales family holiday down in Cornwall. I think it was over Easter. Absolutely fabulous to get these insights into the children as they are growing up and to get in these photos. I think quite a lot of us are actually really grateful that the Wales do share this. They share their children's. They share with us images of their children and insights into their family life. And I think it's a beautiful thing to witness. And of course, 6 days later, on the 29th of April, it was Catherine and William's 15th wedding anniversary. They, of course, have been together since they were 19, and so what they did to celebrate their wedding anniversary, they actually took part in an engagement. I've forgotten what it was called. I'll put it in the edit here. So they took part in an engagement, and then thereafter it was reported that Catherine and William enjoyed lunch at the Goring Hotel. For those of you that may not know, the Goring Hotel is where Catherine stayed the night before her wedding to Prince William. I remember it all like yesterday. So to say it was 15 years is quite shocking, really. Not shocking bad, but you're just shocking in the sense of where has the time gone. I remember seeing the footage of her arriving in the car and shaking hands to members of staff at the Goring Hotel and waving to the crowd, and I just thought, wow, how do you do? Because your wedding day is a very big thing, and there's excitement, there's nerves, maybe nerves about getting your vows wrong or whatever it is, or something going wrong on the day, or your hair might, it might not go the way it should, or whatever it is. It can be quite an apprehensive time, and particularly the night before. So to see her meeting the staff at the hotel and arriving with her family, which is absolutely lovely, and waving to the crowds that had gathered, I mean, that's a pressure. That's a pressure, I think, when, this was her wedding day, and typically for the rest of us, it's a very private event with our friends and family. And of course, for her wedding to Prince William, our future king, you had politicians, members of the royal family, you had so many people there, and you've also got hundreds of thousands of people watching. You've got 1-2 billion people watching on television and participating in the event. There's street parties. That's massive, and Catherine just looked so relaxed. She looked really relaxed, and I think what a lot of us can see now, 15 years on, just over now, she's always had a sense of who she is. She's very confident and comfortable, and so she should be. But that sense, that poise that she had, and her strength, her quiet strength, I think we all see that now. I think it's more evident to quite a few of us now. We may have had a sense of it then, but it's so evident. And I mean, she's been with William for so many years at this point, so I think it was just pure elation in the air, especially, and I can't imagine what it would have been like in the crowd, waiting to see her either arrive at the Goring Hotel, or I remember watching the wedding, and I remember actually specifically I was straightening my hair, and my TV, I turned my TV, I had a mirrored wardrobe, so I turned my TV so I could watch it as I was doing my hair. And I remember just seeing her getting in the car with her father, and I just saw her veil and just like the top part of her dress, and I'm straightening my hair and I just saw her and I was like, there's lace. And so I turned around to the telly just so I could have a look, and then obviously you could only see the top, and I thought, it's maybe I love my wedding dress. I still love it. I love my wedding dress, but for royal wedding dresses, Catherine is my absolute favourite. I mean, I've said it before on the channel. I think at the beginning of my very first video, Catherine is my favourite. If I had to pick one person, I mean, it's quite hard when you think of Queen Elizabeth II. But if I had to pick one, Catherine is definitely my favourite. I watched, obviously we've seen footage of Catherine being followed by press to and from her car, going to and from work. I'll never forget the footage from her 25th birthday. So to see her marrying Prince William, and she exited the car and you saw the dress in full. Wow. Absolutely wow. 15 years later, wow. That's all I can say. I can't say that for other wedding dresses, because to be fair, I've not seen a lot of royal weddings, but this one I've seen quite a few times, because not only is it on YouTube, and to be quite honest, I should have in the background some, I've got a statue of Catherine in a wedding dress. If I remember to take a picture of this statue that I have, I'll insert it here. But I think for royal weddings that I've seen, which is very limited, I think I've watched 3. Yeah. I remember Prince Edward and Sophie, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh. I remember them getting married, but I didn't watch it. Obviously, Catherine and William, I mean, it's Catherine at the end of the day. And also watched Princess Eugenie and Jack get married. Obviously, that was after Prince Harry married Meghan Markle. So, they're 3 weddings that I've watched and I remember. But Catherine and William's is the ultimate, because, well, it just is. So, at this point. So, like I say, she's a favourite of mine. Still love her wedding dress. So, yes, as I said, no, just to stay on this, in watching the wedding, and obviously on their anniversary, clips were circulating online, and one of my favourite clips, and there's quite a few from the wedding, let's be honest, whether it's William seeing Catherine for the first time, watching her walk up the aisle is also amazing. I think it's about 5-6 minutes on YouTube. There's a short of it, a short video rather, and but I think one of my favourites is when Catherine and William come out onto the balcony and it's Catherine's first time. Can you imagine? This is your wedding day, you're sharing it with, you know, hundreds of thousands of people that have lined up from point A to point B to point C at various different points on the way, and there are rows deep of people lining the streets. So you've seen all those people, you know there's globally people are going to be watching your wedding day, and then you're going out on the balcony, you know, and you just, there's a gravitas to that balcony. Obviously William's parents, now King Charles, his late mother Diana, they were on the balcony. William's grandparents were on the balcony after they got married. It's a very poignant point of Buckingham Palace, because you've got the gates and you've got the fountain with the Victoria statue, and they're up on the balcony to look right down the Mall there. I'm pretty sure it's called the Mall. You'd think I'd know after watching this stuff for years and years and years, but can you imagine watching, coming out onto the balcony, and Catherine's face was, wow. And I commented on X, I thought, I just said to someone that posted this clip, and I was like, this is one of my favourite clips. I wonder if Catherine is used to this view now. She's been up there for Trooping the Colour and Trooping the Colour, Jubilee celebrations, obviously King Charles's coronation. She's been up there quite a few times now, so over the last 15 years. So you just think, do you ever get used to it? I wonder if you ever get used to it. That would be very interesting. So that was just my thought. I thought, I wonder if she's used to that now. I'd probably need to be pinched every single time that this is part of my life. So, like I say, it was their 15th wedding anniversary, and what they also did is share a portrait, well, not quite a portrait, but a photo, also taken by Matt Portis during their Easter holiday in Cornwall. Again, I think they must have been at Easter. I'll also put an edit just to say whether yes it was Easter or no it wasn't. So they released a photo, and of course it was William and Catherine with their 3 children and both of their dogs. And we now have a name for the new dog. So we knew that we've seen a few times that they had another dog, and we knew that Orla, their dog Orla, has had puppies, but it was confirmed, was it Sunday, 3rd of May, that this dog that we've seen in a couple of videos and is called Otto, and he is one of Orla's puppies. And James Middleton, Catherine's brother, has confirmed that Otto is a descendant of Ella, his most beloved dog that is no longer with us, God bless her. So I thought that was very sweet. So I noticed there was 2 dogs. I saw Orla, of course, and we didn't know who. We knew obviously it was their other dog, but we didn't know what the name of the dog was. And Catherine and William with all 3 children, and I thought it was an absolutely beautiful shot, very on brand, being in nature. That we know that they are a very close family, so to see them all together, very relaxed and comfortable. Obviously lying in the grass, I thought it was a beautiful photo, and with their 2 dogs, obviously. It's not what you would call or some would call picture perfect photo, because you see that George isn't looking at the camera, or whether he seems to be looking at William, perhaps, don't know. But in spite of how lovely this photo is, it did draw criticism. Like I say, I thought it was a lovely photo, and again, it was just to give us an insight into it was just kind of say, this is where we are 15 years on, with our children, with our dogs. And P.S. this was taken during our family holiday in Cornwall. So they're on holiday in Cornwall, and yes, Matt Porteous is there. Seemingly he knows the family very well, because the photos that we've seen from this holiday in Cornwall, everybody's very relaxed. Louis was very relaxed in his photo and his video that was taken, that Matt Porteous did. And also on the 2nd of May, so just Saturday, it was Princess Charlotte's 11th birthday. And again, Kensington Palace released Charlotte's portrait, also taken by Matt Porteous, and again this was in Cornwall, and a video was also released, a bit like Louis'. It was, you know, it's all in the same vein, so it's all taken from the time in Cornwall. So anyway, so I thought the photo of Charlotte was absolutely fabulous. I enjoyed the video. People actually put up a side by side, because in Louis' video he's seemingly playing cricket, and then in Charlotte's video she's bowling the ball. So people have put that up side by side, and it looks really very good. Kudos to the person that put them side by side. Kudos. I thought it was great, and again it just shows, you know, the children are very happy and they're very comfortable. That seemingly them, you know, they must know Matt quite well at this point, because again in the photo and in both of Louis and Charlotte's photos and in the corresponding videos, they're very relaxed, and I think that's what we get from when we see Catherine and William with all three of their children. All three of them come across as very happy and confident children. Yeah, I think what we see from William and Catherine when they're out with the children, or they bring them to events, whether it's Easter Sunday like we saw this year, Trooping the Colour, events like that, and the children are very, I think they're quietly confident, all three of them, and they're very, you know, they're aware of what's going on, and then, you know, they're all getting a bit older now, so I think they're more aware. But from what we see in these videos, which are actually quite candid, because obviously it's taken on holiday, is that they're just very happy children, and I think it's beautiful again to see. It's all good. It's all, you know, and obviously 2024 was a pretty rough time for the family, and I'm sure so many of us are so grateful that Catherine is now doing better and she's able to do a bit more, and, you know, just so grateful that she's well again. And it's beautiful to see, and they've all come through it, and they've come through it as a family, and they're a strong family, and it's just something beautiful for us to see, and we should all thank them really for allowing us to see these private moments, because that's what they are. So yeah, and so in between the anniversary, William and Catherine's anniversary and Princess Charlotte's birthday on Saturday, I did say I'd try and do this in chronological order, but anyway, so in between, obviously King Charles and Queen Camilla had their state visit to America to mark 250 years of independence. I think quite a lot of us knew that, because Donald Trump has been so outspoken before in his love and admiration of the royal family. He loved our late Queen, and he really reveres our royal family, and that stems from his mum. I think we knew this was going to go quite well. I think personally I did, because he loves the royal family, he loves the British royal family, so I think perhaps for President Trump it was like, this is going to go well, because I'm going to love every second of having King Charles and Queen Camilla here. I think he absolutely loves it, and I think he was so excited, and First Lady Melania, I think, did an excellent job. There were posts online about her going through the fine details of whether it be the state dinner or whatever it was. She was paying particular attention to these things in the run up to the state visits, and I think overall, I think it went pretty well. I think they were received really well, and I have to say I enjoyed. I mean, I need to go back and see if I can watch all of King Charles's speech at the state dinner. I did watch his speech to Congress. I thought it was very on brand for King Charles, particularly when he spoke about the environment. So I thought it was quite on brand for him. And we saw obviously his dry humour, and I think his humour was more, from the clips I saw, his humour was more on display at the state dinner. And I think one of my favourite bits from what I've seen of his speech is when he gifts President Trump the bell from HMS Trump. I think from what I saw, President Trump was I think he was surprised because, and I know I was, because I didn't know there was a HMS Trump. So I think for him knowing that there's a boat of his namesake, you know, I think that will have given him quite the boost. I think he was probably surprised, and I think he was taken aback, really, the fact that King Charles was personally gifting to President Trump the bell that was on HMS Trump. I thought that was a lovely moment, and I quite liked, because I quite like a dry sense of humour. So when King Charles said, "Should you ever need us, give us a ring," I thought that was quite droll. I quite enjoyed it. So I also take that to mean that when President Trump has completed his second term, he gets to take it with him, because King Charles said he was personally gifting it to him. Let me know down in the comments anyway, if I'm right or not. I might be, I don't know. But that's what I took from it. So yeah, I think overall the state visit, I think it went really well. Obviously, if you want to enter a discussion down below, let me know your thoughts of how you thought the state visit went. Feel free down below. I appreciate everyone's comments and views. From my perspective, I think the state visit as a whole went really well. So I don't have to mind, I can't think of anything. I can't think of any criticisms I have, to be honest. I think, like I say, because President Trump loves the British royal family, it comes from his mum. And I think Melania, I think she's also very fond of our royal family as well. And, you know, I think they all seem to get on quite well, and we've seen President Trump and Melania greeting Catherine and William when they had their state visit last year, which I also think went very well. So we know there's a fun, you know, I think they have a cordial relationship, shall we say. So yeah, all in all, I think it went very well. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for bearing with me. Sorry about the gap between videos, but I thought I would just amalgamate all these things together. Thank you if you've made it to the very end, thank you for being with me today. Share your thoughts and comments down below. If you would like the video, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one.